Okay, teachers, welcome to our Q&A for our Early Literacy Clinic today. So, Kath, I believe you do have some questions for me that were sent in earlier, and I don't know if you've got any questions for the session today, but do you want to hit me with the questions that were sent in?
Sure. Okay. So what are your thoughts on the amount of readers a child should get per week at 5 to 6 years of age? Some programs say just do one a week. They say quality over quantity.
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing this discussion. I mean, personally, I think one book, guided reading book a week is not enough. And I think, yes, you want quality, but yes, you want quantity because of reading mileage. And the more you read, the better you are at reading, the more strategies you get to use. So with most of my students, I actually do one guided reading book a day. So they read it once with me, and then they take it home and read it again. And it goes into a browsing box where they'll read it again the next day when they're doing browsing. But if I have a low ability group or a group that I would like to spend more time with, we will do the same book for 2 days with a focus on expression and fluency on the second day. Because some children do need 2 days on the whole book. So it's not like there's a blanket answer to that question. You obviously have to be mindful of the children you're with. And I wouldn't do one a day with anyone actually if there were no opportunities for rereading. So having that browsing box is really important. What I have found is that my students and we actually both like the pace of one a day. The children come to the lesson with, oh, what are we doing today? What's today's story about? As opposed to, oh, we've got yesterday's story again. That's not as exciting for them. They're really motivated to have one a day. And because I always want to test things out myself. A few years ago, I actually did trial it. I trialed doing one book with all the children, different books depending on the group, but every group got one book over 2 days. And I found in with that class, it slowed progress down. So what I suggest you consider doing is do an experiment yourself. As teachers, we should always be doing inquiries. And why don't you have, like, if you've got two similar level groups, one group has one book a day, one group has one book every second day, and look at their levels at the start of term and look at their levels at the end of term. Is there a difference? I found there was. You might not find that. And see what you think. Okay, all right. That was quite a long answer to that question. Do we have another question, Kath?
Yeah, look, Jennifer has actually asked a question. Your early reading books are really hitting the spot with NPS kids.
Hey.
Are they the best kids, are they best supported with early words learning and program? And do you go?
Do you want me to look at the question, Kath?
Yeah, have a look at it, please.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think what you're asking, but come in and let us know if that's not the case, is can you use the Early Words readers without the Early Words program? The answer is yes, definitely. In fact, most of the children, I use Early Words readers with my own students, and none of them this year are on the Early Words program because they stand alone, but they just follow the same order of words. So yes, you can definitely use them, and I find the children do really enjoy them. Okay, so Kat, do you want to move on to the next question?
Right.
Or Jennifer, come back if we didn't answer it correctly, and Kath will come back to it.
She says, awesome, thanks. Okay, next question. I have taken on a class of year 1 children who can't read and write, and I just don't know what to do. I'm a new teacher, and everything we learned about literacy in our training was based around children already having some knowledge of how to read and write, but these children can't. Please, what do I do?
Yeah, well, you're definitely not the first teacher in that position coming out of teacher training and not knowing what to do. I was in the same position when I started teaching myself. I had a class of children who couldn't read and write. And look, I'm just going to tell you that is a full-on thing to do. So I think actually, like I said in the memory talk, small bites, start with the basics, singing every day, rhyming every day, reading to children out loud at least 5 times a day. Bring in your shared reading and writing, your phonics. These are all little things. So as you feel able, bring in one thing, and once you feel you've nailed that, like bring in singing every day. Once you've nailed that, bring in rhyming every day with the children making rhyming strings. Once you've nailed that, obviously you should be reading aloud every day from day one. Bring in your shared reading. Learn how to teach shared reading. Introduce that and your shared writing. Once you know how to do that, then break into your guided reading and writing, or maybe get into your phonics. You've got different elements that you're going to need to run a successful literacy program. You know, your phonics, your spelling, your handwriting, your guided writing, your guided reading, your shared writing. That's a lot. So break them into small components, introduce one at a time, and just build on those. And you know what will help you, like I would join that Facebook group for New Zealand primary teachers. There's lots of really great people there who are so helpful. My YouTube channel has a lot of basic videos. My book, Reading Discovery Club, I would go to that because I wrote that exactly for teachers who have got children who can't read and write and don't know how to teach the basics. And that's a free download you can get from my website as well. So kia kaha, that's a big job, but just start with small bites so it's not so overwhelming, and you are going to make a difference.
Okay, great. Okay, if you're teaching a word and a child doesn't remember it, do you leave it or go on to a new word in the hope that they might learn that?
Well, as I was just saying, my memory talk, obviously, you know, like part of me is going to say, no, stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. Certainly, that's what I do in early words. But it is true, there is some evidence to suggest that with some children, and some words in particular, they're just certain words that they might have a block about. And rather than flog a dead horse, I would probably just go on to the next one. So let's talk about the alphabet when we're doing stage 2 phonics. And you know, I talk about doing a letter a day because there are some letters that take them a long time to learn. So rather than keep going on about the same one day after day, which is going to slow progress, we'll do a different one tomorrow. So the child comes to the lesson, or what are we doing today? But that means you have to revise the other ones as well. So they're not actually abandoning the one they couldn't learn. You still want to have a revision section. So let's say if you're doing a word a day, no, actually, yeah, I actually do a word a day if I'm taking a group or a class. I don't have an expectation they're all going to remember every word every day I teach it, but every part of that lesson of teaching that word of the day has a component where previously taught words come out. And what I find is over time, all of them get some of them. So I don't know. I hope that's helpful. Okay.
Oops, sorry. Yes, oops, sorry. I forgot to unmute myself. All right. And what is the last teaching resource you bought or made?
Okay, so the last one I bought was the digraph poem books by Smart Kids. So I went to the website and bought that just because I was doing stage 5, and I had some stage 5 poems, but I just wanted some new ones. So I got that from Smart Kids, and it was on special. So, and that was just like a couple of weeks ago. And the last one I made, I don't know if teachers know my CVC write on wood cards, and then my CCVC write on wood cards. I've actually just revamped them. And so that meant I had to make them all over again. So I got them redesigned, and you can download those for free from my website, teachers. So I got those redesigned and I downloaded them, and I'm halfway through cutting them out. I'm going to use them with my group. Okay.
Okay, so
Did you have another
fantastic.
question?
Yeah, no, that's the end of the submitted questions. I'm just open. If anyone else has a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and have a chat to Yolanda.
Yeah, so I will, let's just see if anyone wants to do that. Otherwise, I might stop recording now because people get shy. So if you do want to ask a question, those of you who are here live, quickly ask it now. While I just make my closing comments, and then I will stay in the room if anyone does want to ask it, but they just don't want to be recorded. That's totally fine as well. So I'll stop recording. If you're watching this, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this Q&A.